Hey folks, this is Ardwulf. Welcome back. This is some more Battle for Normandy from GMT Games, designer Dan Holt, 2009. We are at the very end of the June 6th PM turn and about to start the June 7th night turn, where you really kind of start the full game, to be completely honest about it, because it's the first real night turn that you're getting, and you do some important things like the air allocations and the replacements and all that other stuff. In the night turn, and roll for weather for that matter. So I think we're doing the standard weather, so we're going to roll for weather for June 7th. We'll see how that happens, but in the meantime, let's see what happened on June 6th. 82nd Airborne is trying to consolidate around Pont-l'Abbé here. They're actually probably going to pull back a little bit at this point. Germans of the 91st Infantry are defending pretty far forward, and in fact, we'll get to that in a minute. Utah Beach is pretty well cleaned up, so we have a clear path inland now from there, and we're cleaning up the area of the beach. I failed to take out this particular strong point. We did manage to take, thanks to air support and naval gunfire, we managed to force the Germans out of Carentan. We did not cause any step losses. We took, I think, one, but we do now hold one hex of Carentan. That's worth 4 victory points right now. We also finally took St. Mary-Glise. That's worth 1 victory point. So the Allies are at 5 victory points right now. So they're in pretty good shape as far as things go right now, but they need to take some more if they are shooting for the sudden death victory on June 9th. I don't think that's particularly realistic considering how well I'm doing here, but that's the general idea, and that's what's pretty much going on here in the American sector over by Utah Beach. We are going to have to move some guys up here to protect this flank. Probably that's largely going to be the 4th Infantry. Along with whatever armor support rolls off the beach. Like I said, we do have a clear path here now, so that's a plus. Over here at Pont-du-Hoc, the Rangers actually rolled and took the point. However, they are also now cornered by these guys. This naval gunfire unit actually cannot fire because there is no infantry unit with it. That's a special rule for this particular unit. So actually, I probably should have put these guys here. But I wouldn't have gotten as sweet an attack on the Rangers as I got, which turned out to be a no-effect attack thanks to Allied naval counter-battery fire. Over here on the east side of Omaha, we have finally started to roll up the defenders. This strong point at the far east still remains, but we can clean that up later. Right now, the 352nd is kind of still forming up behind, or elements of the 352nd are kind of still forming up behind the beach here. All of these guys are going to be in supply. That is questionable for these guys out of the 352nd over by Gold. So I think our plan here is to try and reduce what we can. We had to spend a lot of naval gunfire and therefore supply points to neutralize some of these German positions to satisfy the mandatory attack rules. But we did actually get up on, we got, what do we got here? We got the 1st out of the 26th Regiment up on the actual shore, like above the cliffs. So that's a plus. We're going to be able to leverage a lot of firepower on this hex this turn. It would be nice if we could take out this draw over here. In front of, what is this, St. Laurent, because that will actually give us the first really useful draw that we can get on Omaha. So over here at Gold, the Germans have started to pull back a little bit, but the defense is fairly forward, and the British have more or less cleared the beach with the exception of this strong point in the far east. The Canadians tried to, they've got these this Canadian battalion here, and an army unit is on the far side of the river, so I tried to reduce this and cause a step loss, but I did not cause a retreat, so I'm not in a really good position to attack across the river here due to the modifiers for that, but the Canadians are in pretty good shape to push ahead quite a bit from where they are right now. These units right here are holding down the left flank, but that is probably as far east as the Canadians are going to go at this time. Over on Sword, again, elements of the 716th have kind of pulled back. We do not, as the Germans, we do not wish to be in a situation where we have to take unfavorable mandatory attacks. There were a couple mandatory attack situations that I set up, and the Germans did counterattack in a couple places, and I'll talk about that in a second. Over here in the 6th Airborne sector, we did launch a counterattack against these guys from the 711th. We caused a retreat and 1 step loss. They had to back out from where they were. That spoiled the potential German attack from the 711th. But then they rolled up here and were able to try to counterattack this airborne company, which failed. Units of the 346th, including another crappy Ost battalion, are starting to roll onto the map from the east from down here. Thanks in large part to mech movement. 21st Panzer is moving up here into Caen, and I feel like I forgot to move a couple of these, but that is what it is. I'll go back and check it and correct it if necessary. They're forming up around Caen, but they're also trying to launch counterattacks against the 6th Airborne here because they want to reduce this pocket. So I'm actually going to bring most of the incoming and to keep some 21st Panzer in Caen. But most of this unit should be flipped. Am I missing it? I might be missing it. Okay, that's fine. Because I did use it. But most of the incoming 21st Panzer guys are actually going to come up here along the east bank of the Orne to help out their comrades reduce that pocket. And we'll see how that goes. Of course, these 2 bridges being out is a bit of an inconvenience, but it's not a crippling problem at the moment. Over here in the American sector, Carentan, we're not required to make mandatory attacks here. You know what? I think this unit was required to mandatory attack. That being the case, I think I'm going to move him back 1 hex, which is unfortunate, and makes my defense of Carentan a bit less effective because it doesn't force the Americans into a mandatory attack situation. They wouldn't be from the terrain, but they would be if they attacked. Well, that is what it is. We did also counterattack the 82nd over here by Pont-l'Abbé, and that did not go well. We caused a step loss on either side, no retreats or anything. The Germans, as you can see, are defending pretty far forward. 91st is going to be in here insofar as we can protect it. The 709th is going to be up here defending forward, eventually, of Montburg, depending on how the Allies move up the coastal road. And the 243rd is still lining up into position. They're going to cover the gap here. We'll see how that goes. I've basically stripped the... not quite all, but pretty close to all of the Cherbourg garrison. So there's not going to be a ton defending Cherbourg when, I should say, the Allies break through. But at the same time, it seems to me to be the better policy to try and prevent the Allies from cutting the peninsula in the first place, rather than these guys just all getting isolated and defeated in detail. So that is pretty much the rest of June 6th. So here is what is coming in for June 7th. Now, there's not that much for the Allies in comparison. There's actually quite a bit here, to be completely honest about it. These guys, of course, will queue up in the landing queues, so it's not like these guys are going to make it onto the map this turn anyway. There's quite a bit of German stuff that's going to come in this time, including the Panzer Lair, some 265th, and what looks like some more of 12th SS. There's actually a couple units out of 12th SS. They're already on the map down here someplace. Somewhere. Here we go. 12th SS. I did forget to move these guys, so I'm gonna check and see. It's the advantage of taking screenshots every turn so that I can see where I screwed up. At least identify some of the problems and correct them. So I'm gonna fix all that. So stay tuned. I'm not gonna do one of these for every turn. I pretty much made that decision, but I think I'm gonna do another one at the end of June 7th, and we'll see where we are at that time. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.